Imagine a book that starts as a quirky coming of age tale but spirals into a haunting exploration of what it means to be human in a world that demands conformity, and it's unlike anything you've ever read. Hi, I'm Ridhima. Welcome to the Old Trunk. Last week, I got all wrapped up in the quirky brilliance of Sayaka Murata's convenience store woman, that sharp, clever take on conformity and finding your place. And as I promised, I'm back with something even bolder. Her dark, wild, and totally unforgettable novel, Earthlings, translated by Ginny Tapley Takamori. This novel is a wild, unsettling, and profoundly thought provoking journey that's left a lasting impression on me. In this spoiler free review, we'll unpack the story, analyze the major characters, and explore Murata's unique writing style. A quick heads up, Earthlings tackles heavy themes like abuse, trauma, societal pressure, and a lot of triggers. So please check the trigger warnings before you decide to pick it up. But it's a brilliant book, perfect for those who love books that challenge and provoke. Let's get started. Earthlings is a story about alienation, nonconformity, and the struggle to exist in a world that demands you fit a rigid mold. At its heart is Natsuki, a young girl who feels like she doesn't belong, not in her family, not in the society, and perhaps not even on Earth. As a child, she clings to the belief that she's different, possibly otherworldly, and this perspective shapes her as she navigates childhood and later adulthood. The narrative alternates between Natsuki's early years and her adult life, showing how her formative experience ripple into her future. The story follows her relationships with a few key individuals who, like her, feel like outsiders. Together, they confront societal expectations, marriage, work, family, and question whether they can or want to conform. What sets Earthlings apart is its blend of the mundane and the surreal. It begins with an almost whimsical tone, like a quirky coming of age story, but Murata gradually intensifies the narrative, leading to moments that are deeply human yet shockingly strange. Set in Japan, the novel reflects cultural pressures such as the expectation to contribute to society in prescribed ways. But its themes are universal. Who defines normal? What happens when you reject those definitions? How do you survive in a world that seems to reject you? The plot is best experienced blind, so I'll avoid specifics. Just know that this is a challenging book, not here to comfort, but to provoke thoughts and unsettle. It's a story that lingers, demanding reflection long after you put the book down. The characters in Earthling are the emotional core of the story, and Murata crafts them with remarkable depth and complexity. Let's explore the three major figures, Natsuki, Yu, and Tomaya, and analyze their roles in the narrative. Natsuki, the protagonist and narrator, is a compelling and unforgettable character. As a child, she is imaginative, sensitive, and painfully aware of her status as an outsider. Her family favors her sister, leaving Natsuki feeling like an intruder in her own home. To cope, she constructs a vivid inner world, believing she's connected to something beyond Earth, a belief that's less childish fantasy and more a shield against a hostile reality. In adulthood, Natsuki carries this alienation forward. She's acutely aware of societal expectations, which she terms the factory, a metaphor for the relentless pressure to conform, marry, and reproduce. Her defiance is quiet but fierce, rooted in an internal refusal to comply. Yet, she's not a flawless hero. Her trauma shapes her in ways that are complex, sometimes unforgettable. Within the story, Natsuki embodies the individual pushed to society's margins. Her journey raises questions about whether you can carve out a space for authenticity in a world that demands sacrifice. Her arc is both heartbreaking and empowering, with Murata unflinchingly showing the toll of her existence. Yu. Yu, Natsuki's cousin, is a key figure in her childhood, particularly during summers spent in the mountains, and their shared sense of being other forms the basis of their bond. He copes with his alienation in his own way, appearing quieter and more contemplative than Natsuki, yet no less impacted by the world's pressures. Yu's role is dual. He mirrors Natsuki's struggles while also contrasting her approach. When Natsuki internalizes her pain, Yu seems more resigned, at least at times. In the narrative, he represents connection, a rare someone who understands Natsuki, but also the fragility of such bonds when societal forces intervene. His presence lingers in Natsuki's life, serving as both a reminder of possibility and a catalyst for her choices. Tomoya. Tomoya enters Natsuki's life in adulthood, bringing a new dynamic to the story. He too rejects societal norms, but in his own distinct way. His relationship with Natsuki becomes a cornerstone of the novel's second half, marked by a shared refusal to conform. Tomoya is more than a supporting figure. He has his own motivations and vulnerabilities, making him a fully realized character. In the story, he symbolizes a radical kind of freedom, but also the chaos that can accompany complete rejection of norms. His interactions with Natsuki are complex, sometimes harmonious, sometimes fraught, pushing her to confront her beliefs in new ways. Murata avoids reducing Tomoya to a stereotype, giving him depth that enriches the narrative. Natsuki, Yu, and Tomoya form a triad of nonconformity, each grappling with the question of how to live authentically in a world that punishes difference. Natsuki is the lens, Yu the emotional tether to her past, and Tomoya the spark for her future. Murata uses them to explore varied responses to alienation, tying their personal struggles to broader societal critiques. In Japan, where conformity is often prized, their resistance feels particularly radical. But the story resonates universally, challenging the expectations, career, family, conformity that shape us all. The character's complexity is a testament to Murata's skill. They're not always likable, but they're undeniably human, their flaws and strengths reflecting the cost of living outside the norm. Their dynamics drive the story's emotional and thematic weight, making Earthlings a powerful study of individuality under pressure. Murata's writing style is a cornerstone of Earthlings' impact, blending deceptive simplicity with profound depth. Known for convenience store woman, Murata refines her signature approach here, creating a voice that's both accessible and unsettling. Let's break down the key elements of her style: simplicity and accessibility. Murata's prose is straightforward, particularly in the childhood sections, where Natsuki's voice feels direct and unfiltered, like a child recounting a story. This simplicity is inviting, setting an almost whimsical tone early on. Yet, as the narrative darkens, the prose remains clear and unadorned, amplifying the impact of heavier moments. For instance, Natsuki's descriptions of her struggles are raw, almost clinical, reflecting her emotional detachment. This contrast, simple language carrying deep pain, carries a visceral effect. Murata doesn't rely on embellishment. Her restraint makes the story emotional weight more palpable, as if she's trusting the reader to feel without being told how, blending the mundane with the surreal. Murata masterfully weaves the everyday with the bizarre. The story begins in a familiar world: family trips, school, suburban life, but gradually introduces surreal elements that challenge perceptions of reality. These shifts are organic, rooted in Natsuki's perspective, and Murata doesn't over explain them, allowing the reader to navigate the ambiguity. This blend mirrors the theme of alienation. For Natsuki, ordinary life feels strange and oppressive, so the surreal feels like a natural extension of her reality. The style evokes a darker, more psychological form of magical realism, grounding the fantastical in human experience. It's a perfect vehicle for a story about seeing the world through an outsider's eyes. Tone and humor. Murata's tone carries a thread of dark, quirky humor even in the story's bleakest moments. This isn't overt comedy, but a wry, absurd lens on the world, like Natsuki's blunt metaphor of the factory. For society, the humor draws from a Japanese sensibility, think kawaii aesthetics paired with the grotesque, but translates universally, highlighting the absurdity of rigid norms. This humor also unsettles, making the reader question their reactions. A moment might seem amusing, only to reveal deeper pain, creating a layered reading experience. It's a subtle but powerful way to critique societal structures while keeping the narrative engaging. Translation and voice. Translated by Ginny Tapley Takamori, Earthlings retains Murata's distinct voice, the flatness, the childlike quality, the understated humor, while feeling seamless in English. Takamori captures the prose's rhythm, where every word feels deliberate, evoking specific emotions. Compared to other translated Japanese authors like Haruki Murakami or Yoko Ogawa, Murata's style is sparer, more direct, but no less evocative, carving out a unique space in contemporary literature. Emotional impact. The true strength of Murata's style lies in his emotional precision. She doesn't dictate feelings but presents Natsuki's world with such clarity that the reader can't help but feel the discomfort, anger, or fleeting hope. The understated prose makes the story's intensity more striking, often requiring pauses to process. This balance of restraint and impact is what makes Earthlings so memorable, turning a simple narrative into a profound exploration of the human condition. Earthlings is a masterpiece in weaving big ideas into a personal story. Its themes elevate it beyond a character study, offering insights that resonate deeply. Here are the key themes and their significance: alienation and belonging. The novel explores the pain and possibility of feeling like an outsider. Natsuki, Yu, and Tomaya each seek a place where they're accepted, raising the question of whether such a space exists or must be created. This theme captures a universal longing for connection amidst isolation. Murata masterfully explores acts that blur the lines between survival, intimacy, and defiance, and moments of raw vulnerability where characters shed societal constraints in a literal and figurative sense. These moments, presented with unsettling matter of factness, symbolize the characters' rejection of societal expectations and their embrace of a primal, unapologetic existence. For those who feel like outsiders, such acts become a radical reclaiming of agency, forcing readers to grapple with what it means to break free from oppressive norms and whether liberation can never be truly monstrous, and reconsider ingrained judgments about natural versus civilized behavior, conformity versus individuality. Through The Factory, Murata critiques societal expectations, showing how they crush those who don't fit. The story challenges the idea that everyone must follow a prescribed path: work, marriage, reproduction, and invites reflection on the systems we accept without question. The novel's broader sense of strangeness, seen in idiosyncratic rituals, surreal coping mechanisms, and a rejection of conventional logic, further amplifies its exploration of nonconformity, trauma, and survival. The novel handles trauma with unflinching honesty, exploring how early experiences shape identity and choices. Murata portrays survival as complex, sometimes unconventional, offering a compassionate lens on the lengths people go to protect themselves. Freedom and its costs. Earthlings doesn't romanticize rebellion. Rejecting societal norms can lead to liberation, but also to chaos or isolation. Murata presents this tension without easy answers, making the story a nuanced exploration of what it means to live authentically. In conclusion, Earthlings is a haunting, thought provoking masterpiece that dares to challenge societal norms and explore the raw edges of human experience. Its story of alienation, brought to life by Natsuki, Yu, and Tomaya, challenges readers to question societal norms and the cost of nonconformity. Murata's writing, simple yet profound, mundane yet surreal, creates a unique reading experience that lingers long after the final page. For those who crave books that push boundaries and provoke thoughts, Earthlings is a must read. It's not always comfortable, but it's a testament to the power of storytelling to illuminate the human experience. Compared to Convenience Store Woman, it's bolder, darker, more ambitious, cementing Murata as a singular voice in contemporary literature. So, if you're ready to dive into a story that's as uncomfortable as it is unforgettable, grab a copy of Earthlings and experience its power for yourself. Have you read Earthlings or Convenience Store Woman? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. And if you enjoyed this review, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Press that bell icon so that you are notified of whenever I upload a new video. I'll be back with another review. Until then, stay happy. Thanks for watching. Lots of love. Bye-bye.